Hello, and welcome to this episode of Everything Networks. On today's episode, we will be talking about two protocols that will happen on the transport layer level, and they are called Transmission Control Protocol and User Datagram Protocol. We'll start with Transmission Control Protocol, but before I begin speaking about the protocols, I want to tell you something that they use that are extremely important for communication, and that is that these protocols use ports to transfer data efficiently. There are many services we access through the internet over the course of a day. Domain name servers, which resolve IP addresses to website names, emails, and web services are just a few services that we use. These are client server systems, so data needs to be transmitted over the internet, and either TCP, which is Transmission Control Protocol, or UDP, which is User Datagram Protocol, is responsible for that. When a message is delivered using either Transmission Control Protocol or User Datagram Protocol, the protocol and services requested are identified as port numbers. A port is a numeric identifier within each segment that is used to keep track of specific conversations between a client and a server. Every message that a host sends contains both a source and destination port. So, to make it simple to understand, each service requested will have its own phone call. If you're receiving or sending emails, there will be a phone call, so to speak, from port 25 on the client's device to port 25 on the server's device. This makes it possible for the call or connection to be secure and unimpeded by any other activities that the protocols may be controlling. Always remember, by there being a large amount of ports, there's many different connections or calls that can be made, and they all can run at the same time without interfering with one another. There are well-known port numbers that are usually assigned to a certain service. Let's say you wanted to visit a website. You, being the client, requested a web page from a web server over the internet. The web server would usually communicate from port 80. Transmission Control Protocol will set up these connections, and that call, so to speak, would talk or exchange data over that line. The source and destination ports are placed within the segment. The segments are then encapsulated with an IP packet. The IP packet contains the IP address of the source and this will I hope this will help you in the future to understand how ports are connected to IP addresses and the protocols and how they work in order to transmit over the internet from a server to a client and from a client to a server. All right. Thank you for tuning in to this episode. And I'm signing off. Light speed. And bye bye for now.